Okay, we are recording. Okay. You know, when people have already been listening to us, right? It's hard to have that official welcome. But welcome everybody out to our fireside chat this week. Want to just make a few announcements, and then we'll jump into the reason why you're all here today, to be inspired by the wonderful Chad Hymas. But over the upcoming weeks, as we announced last week, we're just going to take these virtual events 1 month at a time. And as we get different announcements from the government, we will make shifts and changes to our upcoming schedule. But for May, on May 1st, we'll have a virtual roundtable. We already have 60 people registered for that. So super excited for that. On May 7th, we're going to do something different. That is a Thursday night at 6 p.m. We're going to have Jason Hewlett on. We want you to bring your entire family to listen to Jason, to be inspired and entertained by him. Then on May 15th, we'll have another virtual roundtable. Then on May 22nd, we'll hear from our fellow Truss member, Ryan Moss, the CEO of Little Giant Ladders, talking about how to innovate during times of chaos. And then if things are back to somewhat of a normality, we will have our first lunch event in person on June 5th. If not, we will adjust from there. We will make announcements probably by mid-May on what our plan is for June. And then, we have someone says, how do we get on the list to receive the Jason Hewlett invitation? Kathy, just send me your email in that Q&A, and Drew will make sure and get you invited to that. Awesome. Thank you so much. And then also, every week we're releasing a TNT video. What that stands for is tips and tactics. We interview our members and we send those videos out. So make sure and subscribe to our YouTube channel. This week we interviewed Steve and Tanner from, I'm going to send you all a chat right now. So that link right there is to our YouTube channel. You can subscribe to that. This week you'll see a video of Tanner and Steve from Awardco talking about what cool companies are doing to incentivize and recognize all their employees during this weird time where they're working remotely. Other than that, just want to give a big shout out and thank you to our sponsors, Mountain America Credit Union, Visible Supply Chain Management, Snowbird, EY, and Alexander's. Other than that, I'm going to get out of your way so we can listen to Chad. But Jeff is going to introduce Chad now. And then I just want to say Chad is one of my favorite speakers I have ever heard. And I am so excited for you guys to be inspired by him today. Jeff, take it away.
You know, I've known Chad since high school. Chad was the captain of the basketball team when I was a freshman. And so I looked up to him in so many ways. And now as a Hall of Fame speaker, Chad just really travels the world and inspires so many people. But Chad Hymas, now we're in these virtual times and is a world-renowned virtual speaker. Well, Chad, I don't know how world-renowned virtual speaker you are. What were you, 280 days on the road last year? And so now you're enjoying some home time a little bit on your elk ranch and with Shondell and the kids. But we're thrilled to have you with us, Mr. Chad Hymas.
Thanks, guys. And thank you all for joining us today. Please feel free to use the chat to correspond. I'm sure if you have a question, we can unmute you. Today, I just want to share a few ideas. As Jeff mentioned, world traveler. I haven't been so much of a world traveler since March the 6th. That was my last flight. I had a speaking engagement at the Mirage on March the 6th, and it was amazing to me being there right before Vegas. That was about 3 days before Vegas shut down, and the Con Expo was going on. That takes place every 3 years, and it attracts literally millions of people. It's a construction type venue where people or companies like Komatsu, Caterpillar, they spend millions of dollars, they haul their equipment or their latest technology there, and then then people come, and the hotels were empty, and our world has really turned upside down since then. Or maybe it hasn't been, like Jeff just mentioned, an opportunity for us to see what new things we can learn. Adapt to change. Are we willing to do things differently? We have become virtual experts, if you will, the last 45 days. Our office, we've been able to keep everybody on staff here, and we have just been learning and grabbing a hold of these virtual opportunities and diving into them. And so we have been sharing messages virtually almost almost 3 to 4 a day. So we've been doing actually more work every day when you look at things from a different lens. And so I wanted to share with you kind of what that looks like and share it with you from a different perspective. So like Jeff did mention to you, I do travel and I do speak for a living. I am also a C4 level quadriplegic, which means I don't have the use of my legs. They are completely numb. My hands, they're curled. They are numb, and I am numb from the armpits to the toes and the elbow to the fingertips on both sides. The only muscle that I have beneath the armpit level that works is the diaphragm. So we all have 3 muscles in our chest. And the diaphragm is the one that I was able to maintain, which allowed me to breathe the night that I was injured. I'm not going to get into that right now. I just want you to know the circumstance. And ever since that took place, with the exception of a few months after that accident, I have been traveling, and we just celebrated 19 years. And as I've traveled, I've noticed some commonalities amongst people that are happy, people that are successful, businesses that thrive during challenging or cyclical times versus those that are unhappy, those businesses that fail, those businesses that struggle, those families that tend to be more distant during challenging times. And it's my hope today that in the few short minutes that we have to share with each other, that I can share with you some of those values, those principles that have allowed me to take an experience of change, which is what we're all going through today, and turn it into a window of opportunity. And I think if you'll listen to that and listen to it through a different lens and look at it through a different lens, you'll find that today is absolutely a wonderful day to be part of this world, a wonderful day to be present, to be alive. And I promise today to not give you any hyperbole. I promise not to give you anything that's scripted. I promise not to share anything that I'm not trying to do the best I can to live myself. And so with that said, I'd like to start off with your permission to I'd like to share with you a picture. We went on a family vacation last spring, a year ago last spring. So this spring it was locked down, and so we spent our family vacation on the ranch. Shondell and I live on a ranch, and in fact I'll show you. You guys got to check this out. So this is a picture of the ranch right outside my my office window. Check this out. This is kind of a cool shot. That should pop up on your guys' screen. Maybe in the chat box, or you can give me a thumbs up. Logan, let me know if we can see that. Maybe you just unmute Logan. Give me a yes.
Yeah, yep. Looks
Awesome.
great.
So that's right outside my office window, and that is my dream has always been to be a farmer. And that's where we spent our last spring break. Was out on the farm. Shondell and I have we have a lodge and a cabin where we hold retreats. I do a lot of executive training and leadership training at this lodge. The name of the lodge, I'll have to share it with you. I'm trying to go to where my I can't type it in. Jeff, I want you to type it in the chat box for me. Type in RoyalCreekRanches.com. Ranches is RANCHES. Type that in the chat box. I want you guys to check that out. That's a dream come to fruition. And this last year we spent our spring break there. But the year prior, Shondell wanted to do something that we've never done before. She wanted to go do something in fact, I see the chat right here. There it is. So yep, Royal Creek Ranches. Thanks a lot, Jeff, for throwing that up there. So I got it. So I'm going to stop that picture right there. Come back to me for a second. We went to Hawaii, and my family wanted to go scuba diving. Now, you don't have to look at me too hard to understand why I would not like an opportunity like that. I mean, my legs don't work. I don't swim. Actually, I do swim, but more like a rock. I just go to the bottom. But I have learned it's a lot less crowded down there than it is at the top of the pool. And my family told me that they were going to throw me in the ocean anyway. They just thought that air would be a nice jet for me. And if you're a quadriplegic like I am, you really don't have a lot to say about what happens in your life. And I probably hard for some of you to understand. But at any rate, we went to the island of Kauai, and my family, my 2 oldest boys, they threw me into the ocean. And I've got a picture of this. I want you guys to check this out. This is absolutely unreal to me. And I want to get to where I can share this. So here's my share button. We'll share the screen. We're going to check this out. Logan, I want another thumbs up for me, buddy, please. Making sure that I can share this photograph.
I can see your screen. Oh, yep, I see the elk right now.
So it'll flip over. Just give it a second. And there's the Pacific Ocean. Are we there?
Yep. Oh, sweet.
So there's the Pacific. There's a picture of me. My family is obviously beneath me. There's the boat above me, and I am the surface of the Pacific. I want you all to know that I was very comfortable in that position. I went through some training right there. They put the mask on me to keep it sealed. They taught me about the oxygen levels. They taught me about buoyancy compensation. So there's a couple of knobs over your chest, and one knob air out will make to the bottom. The other knob lets air into the jacket, and that will take the top. So it's rising and falling from the top to the bottom. Oh, you also notice the flippers on my feet. Check it out. I'm not sure why they did that, to be honest with you, but they said that I looked right. So I guess it's important that you look right when you're driving. And I was very, very comfortable in that position. I could see my family beneath me. I felt safe. I felt secure. I could see the detail of God's fingers on the fish. It was unbelievable to see their homes, the corals, the reefs. It was heaven underwater for me. It was an experience unlike one that I've ever had before in my life. And I was happy in that circumstance. I was enjoying myself. I was completely content. And I could have stayed there for hours and hours, if not days upon days, if that were even possible. However, my family and the trainer had a new vision for my circumstance. They wanted me to feel what it was like at the bottom of the ocean. So what did they do? They let all the air out of my vest. Here's the problem with that. With the fins on my feet were floating more than my head. I mean, my head hit the bottom of the ocean floor. Fish were looking at me strange. That's how stupid this was. My family quickly came to my rescue, and they put all the air back into my jacket. So I went straight back up again. Feet first. My feet surfaced at the top. This wasn't working out the way that they had planned. They grabbed the weights. They had some Velcro weights in the boat. They put the Velcro weights around my ankles, hoping that it would help me be more buoyant. And it worked too. I was now straight up and down, so they let all the air back out of my jacket. This time, I went straight back down to the bottom of the ocean, and I landed on a rock, and I was up and down. I was right in the position I should have been in, and I was kind of, I don't know if you can see me. I'm going to kind of back up here a little bit in my wheelchair, see if you can see this, but I was kind of in a position like this. I mean, I was just kind of like this. I was kind of floating on that rock. And I remember thinking to myself, this has got to be what it's like to live the life of kelp. I mean, this is kind of a boring life. This is kind of stagnant. This is really stale. And my family, they were compassionate. They would come visit me from time to time, and they would take me off of my rock, and they would put me on a new rock. I'm pretty sure they were using me as some sort of a GPS marking system. I'm not sure what they were doing, but for those of you that are on this call today, and have chosen to spend some time with us, I want you to know that that's why Jeff and Logan have asked me to spend some time with you. I'm hoping during this time of uncertainty, doubt, and fear that you're willing to step up to the plate and be a marker for those that are looking to you for attitude, for guidance, for counsel. I mean, are your people that are working for you, do your kids at home, are they looking to you because they're confident that you're going to be able to guide them? Doesn't mean that you have to live a perfect life or that you have to be able to provide for all of their necessities, but do they have enough faith and trust in you that they know that they're going to be better when they're around you? People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care about them. I'm going to say it again. For leaders of organizations, I don't care if you're a CEO of a company. I'm not saying that disrespectful. It just doesn't mean much to me. I've met a lot of CEOs that are good by title, horrible by demonstration. Just because I have a child doesn't make me a father. Fatherhood has to be demonstrated by my behavior, not announced because of a title that I have. People don't care how much you know. My children don't care how much I know about being a dad until they know how much I care about three things. Needs. Jeff, I'm just going to let you type this in. Needs, fears, and victories. Or needs, fears, and celebrations. When you can help somebody overcome a need, when you can help them solve a fear, or when you can help celebrate a victory, now we're talking about leadership. And that's a common trait among successful leaders, CEOs, mothers, fathers, all over the world. When does a leader lose credibility? When they stop showing or demonstrating that they care for their people. When economic values are higher than values. You lose credibility real quick. I've seen it happen. We're seeing it happen in our world today. And I'm not going to talk about politics. Hear that message. I don't know anything about politics. When a leader loses credibility is when they stop caring for their people. When they lose trust. And once you lose trust, it's very, very difficult to get back. And if you think that I'm wrong on this, go home. Most of you are already home. Grab one of your smaller children or grandchildren and just start playing catch with them. I'm not talking about a baseball and a glove. Just throw your child up in the air and catch them. Drop that child one time. Watch how enthused they are to do it the next time. Once you lose trust, it's very, very difficult for us to gain back. So principle number one that I want to share with you today is this. Be somebody that is out there trying to earn the trust of those in your circles. Principle number one of good leadership is to learn how to earn the trust and gain the respect, not because you have clout, not because you're arrogant or have an ego, but because you want to serve their needs, their fears, or help them celebrate a success of their own. One way that you can do that right now is to grab your phones and let them know how much value they have. My cell phone is right here. I'll just pull it here. And I would send a text message off on the phone here. And it would sound something like this to one of my kids. Hey, this is Dad. Let's see if I can change this. Perfect. Let me see if I can do this. Okay, we're good. Hey, this is Dad. Just want to let you boys know how much I appreciate all you're doing for the family. Sure proud of the way you're handling this time of uncertainty. Thanks for inspiring Dad to be a better dad, and send that sucker off. The next time those kids are faced with challenges because they're not able to go to school, they're not able to socialize, they're not able to date the way that they used to date because of social distancing or trying to adhere to some of the new ordinances and laws that have been put in place for our safety. The next time they're faced with depression. And if you think that kids today aren't faced with depression, think twice. This is a very, very difficult time for youth to be around, not to be alive, but to experience. We've never experienced anything like this before. Let them know the value that they have. The next time they're faced with that uncertainty, that fear, they'll know that you're looking up to them. It raises a higher bar without you having to raise them yourself. You're just simply letting them know the value that they have. So that takes me to principle number two. You'll notice that when I sent that message off, or when I asked you to do that with the phone, I did not use the words I, me, or my. That's why it sounded a little bit different when we were talking. I simply said, hey boys, Dad here. It's a beautiful day outside today, spring day. A time of growth, time of renewity, a time of rebirth, a time of excitement and joy. Just want you boys to know how much joy you've brought to me all these years. Don't you ever forget that, and send that message off to your kids. Watch how quickly you gain their trust. Watch how quickly you gain their confidence. Watch how quickly they are to come to you for advice. security. Same thing goes for those that work for you. I didn't say you had to give them a gift certificate to a restaurant or give them a pay raise or give them a bonus or a bonus structure. Let people know the value that they have and find a way to serve. Let me put it to you this way. Before my accident 19 years ago, I was looking for a way to make money. And there's nothing wrong with that. Provide for a family, build a dream. Money's a good motivator, for sure. Since my accident, I've tried to find a way to fit in with people and serve. And in so doing, I've made a better living in the process. Principle number 3, find a way to serve those that are constantly serving you. Find a way to show gratitude to those who are constantly serving you. Look at what people are doing right now. Look what's making the news, the positive news. I'm not talking about people that are talking about all the deaths that we've had. Look at the inspiring stories. They usually come up at the end of the NBC broadcast. They don't do them at the front because they want to get all the news that attracts people, like how many people died in New York today, and the ambulance, the earthquakes, and the tornadoes, and the murder. That draws news. You want to see the inspiring stuff? They usually end it with that. Like a bunch of kids that are out, they're distancing 10 feet apart, and they're honking their horn for a special needs girl that just survived the COVID-19. I saw that on the news last night. That was inspiring. Or how about all the people from Utah, from Intermountain Healthcare? I think there was 200 of them that volunteered their time to go to New York, give nurses and those doctors some relief. That was inspiring. What about some of those people that are willing to leave their families for the sake of somebody else's life? Listen, I'm not here to quote scripture to you. I'm not a ordained pastor, but there's a passage that I've read somewhere in some book that reads something like this: greater love hath no human being than he that layeth down his life for somebody else. Greater love hath no man than he that layeth down his life for somebody else. I didn't say you had to go die for somebody. Just go find a way to put somebody else's needs in front of your own. Take your kids out and help clean up somebody's yard without being asked. Which takes me to principle number 4. Leaders are proactive. They're not reactive. I know you guys will go help somebody if you're asked. People will help me all the time if I ask for their help. But when somebody comes up to me and says, hey, we got you covered, what do you need? I want you all to know that I stick by their side. Why? Because those people are hard to find. And that's how I've been able to travel the world by myself the last 19 years. There's a key point that I just shared with you. I don't know if you caught it or not. I'm worried you might have missed it. I'm the only quadriplegic known of by Guinness Book of World Records that travels alone. I'm not saying that to brag. I'm not saying that for arrogance or for woe. My dad didn't want me to be average like other chairs. I'm not saying that in a negative way. Don't hear that. I'm not calling out people that are in wheelchairs to be average. My dad did not want me to sit. He wanted me to be different. Would you believe that it's because of the people that I meet and have met as I've traveled that allow me to be independent? Because I don't get up and walk on an airplane like you do. Complete strangers pick me up. I've never met them before. When I get to a hotel, there's usually somebody there called a bellman. A bellman's job is to greet people, grab their luggage, get it to the room, and if they're really good, they'll pull out the luggage rack. They'll take out your shirts if they ask your permission. They might even iron them if they're really good. Bellman for me, and I've had bellmen that say, hey, I'll go grab you some water and some ice. How much bottles of water would you like? How many would you like? Hey, do you need help getting up on the bed there? It looks like it's a little high. I got you covered. I'll help you out. Now we're talking about principle number 5. Jeff, do more than your title requires. Do more than your job requires. Anybody can be a dad. A dad that goes home and plays Frisbee with their kids or takes them to a park to play some catch. Now we're talking about a father. A CEO that is visible felt. I didn't say behind their desk all the time. A CEO that is visible felt, out amongst their people, getting to know their needs, their fears, their victories. Now we're talking about a true leader. Do you have the ability to lead by being visible to those people, whether it be virtual like this, FaceTime on a phone, using Zoom, StreamYard, so many different ways now that we are connecting with people. I think we have connected and done more presentation than I ever did in the 19 years because I could only fly to one city a day and meet with so many people in a ballroom. Now I can live stream Facebook to over 10,000 people when we connect it to Facebook and just get them. So much more opportunity has come to us through this epidemic or pandemic than we would have ever realized before. Now we're just trying to soak it all in and trying to find different ways that we can get messages and lift people's hope up and let them see the happiness that it brings to us if they'll just try it themselves. People that refuse to adapt to change, principle number 6. People refuse to change the changing world. You guys know that our world is changing. People that refuse to change with that, life will change without you and it will be more painful. And I know a lot about that because I chose to sit in my wheelchair for months and months and it was absolutely miserable. I want to show you what that looks like. So get number 6 up for me, Jeff. People that refuse to change. Great. I'd like to share, with your permission, I want to share an idea. I'll show you a picture of one of my boys back in the day. So there's the scuba. Let's pull the puppy up. So you see a boy. Logan, help me out, buddy. Give me a thumbs up. We should see a soccer player right there.
Yep, I can see it.
Rock on. So that kid was 3 years old when I got hurt. He's now 22. Sorry, they grow up too fast, guys. I remember very clearly sitting in my front room in my wheelchair, watching that kid play soccer with his mom out on the front, the front yard there. And I was so angry and so frustrated because I couldn't play soccer with him the way that I'd wanted to. I wasn't looking at new opportunities or new ways of doing things. I was just sitting in my front room like this, just like this. I was just watching Shondell play soccer with him. And it started to fester. And I remember getting mad at God. I'm not saying that it was his fault, but easy to blame when things don't go our way. I remember even getting mad at my legs. Not their fault. They're innocent. Easy to blame when things don't go. I remember blaming my wheelchair. That was just there to help me. I mean, we'll look at anything to blame when things don't go our way. Principle number 6. Only when you're willing to take responsibility for everything that happens in your life, even though it's not your fault, will you begin to understand your potential. So, Jeff, we're going to try and word this very, very easily. In order for people to understand their full potential, they must accept responsibility for where they're at in their life today. No matter if it's their fault or not, it doesn't matter. So I would call that personal accountability. That's your next principle. Take responsibility for everything that's happening in your life, whether or not it's your fault or not. Take the hit that's not yours to bear. Take responsibility for the argument, even though you didn't start it. Take responsibility for your kids' grades, even though it's not you in the classroom doing the work. Own it. Watch their grades rise because you spend time with them. I didn't say you had to understand the math. This kid, I wheeled my chair off the front door, and all I said to him was this: "Hey, are you okay if I watch you play soccer?" I didn't want to play, I just wanted to watch. "Are you okay if I watch?" That little kid said, "No, you can't watch." So there's rejection right there. I just turned my wheelchair around go back inside the house. And before I could get in the front door, that kid had latched onto the back handles of my wheelchair and he pushed me down the cement ramp onto the grass. And he said, "Dad, you're going to be the goalie." Oh, I don't want to be the goalie. I don't want to play. I don't want to. I just want to go back to where I was comfortable, back to the top of the ocean. I want to go back to my comfort zone, back in the front room and just look out the window. He wouldn't even listen to me because a child intuitively understands when faced with uncertainty, such as we're going through right now in the world, when they're faced with doubt, such as we're going through right now. Logan mentioned we're not even sure if we're going to get together in June. So that's up in the air. It's doubtful, uncertain. Or when we're faced with fear. Do you know what children understand? Here's number 7, Logan. Jeff? We only need to love, give, and serve a little bit more. And as executives of multi-million-dollar companies, I'm not sure when we lose that. As adults, as parents, I'm not sure when we lose that. A child intuitively understands that when faced with fear, uncertainty, and doubt, we only need to love, give, and serve, show compassion a little bit more. Leaders need to do that. We need to do that more as a humanity. That kid pushed me onto the grass. He went and grabbed 2 orange cones. He put one by this tire and one by this tire over here. And then he said this, "Dad, Mom said that you're numb. So whenever I kick the ball and it hits you, shouldn't hurt, Dad. You're going to be the best goalie in the world. No one will ever score on you." There's our next principle. He wasn't worried about how many points he was going to score against his old man. For my executives on the call today, he wasn't worried about how much money's in his bank account or what the profitability or the margins were. He was dishing out assists. Instead of us being so worried and counting what's in our bank accounts or our credibility tank, if you want credibility as a leader, count how many assists you dish out each day. Leaders dish assists. They make people that are around them better because they're there, which begs the question, are we all better because you're part of our group? Or do you not contribute to our group? Is my family happy because I'm at home with them? Or do they want me at a Marriott somewhere because Dad's been kind of grumpy sometimes at home. He's not used to being at home. I should ask myself that question. It's made me be a better dad. And if I could just share something personal with you now. I'm in my office. Let's see if I can, here we go. I got my assistants that are here in the office today. They'll be the first to tell you the toughest thing for me in the last 19 years has been to be at home. I have been home more now since March 6th than I have been in the last 19 years. And Shondell and I have talked about this. Why is it tough for me to be at home? I don't like having my wife help me. Hate it. I know I said for better or for worse when we got married, I made those promises. I think I said something like that. No one plans on the person that they're in love with helping them shower. I know it sounds like fun. It ain't fun. I don't like her help getting me dressed. She's nice about it. I mean, she'll ask me what I want to wear. Then she puts on me whatever she wants. I hate that. I've discovered that I wear outfits. Oh, and by the way, I can do all those things by myself. It just takes me a couple hours. I've been doing it for years in hotel rooms. I don't mind it. It's an exercise for me. Shondell would rather me not get dressed by myself. She'd rather me go spend that time with her and the kids doing Come Follow Me program or having breakfast with them or sitting at the dinner table. rather than me being separated from them and I'm in the master bedroom getting dressed and they're all up there as a family having breakfast. So my challenge right now as a leader of my family is to look at that list that's typed up right there in the chat box and go back and live that right there. I mean, that's my challenge right there. I've been teaching this for years and haven't really been required to live it to the extent that I'm required to do today, which takes me to number 9. Leaders surrender to other people's opinions and ideas. They surrender, which means that I don't have to get dressed by myself because I can do it. Leaders are willing to surrender to other people's opinions, ideas, or even their needs more than their own. And I can tell you that when I surrender to Shondell, she has a better day. Rather than me say, Shondell, I'm just going to do it by myself. Shondell, leave me alone. Shondell, I got it covered. We're happier as a couple. She's happier when I surrender to her ideas. There's a lot of power that comes with surrendering and giving other people credit and letting other people serve. You have the ability to surrender. In order for you to understand the power that it's had in my life, I'm going to take you back 19 years. I need to take you back in time, 19 years. Happy going where I was going. I was happy doing what I was doing. I was the owner of a construction company based in Salt Lake City, Utah. I was building this dream of the ranch that we live on today with my own hands, my own legs, digging post holes, putting in fence, putting in the pens for all the elk and the pheasants that we have, and this big vision that I had in my head. Here's the last picture we have of me and my family together. We're going to show a movie to you here in a second. That's your cue. So there's the picture. That's the last picture that we have of my family. There's Shondell. There's the boys. And one of my favorite parts about that picture is my hands. I love my hands in that picture. They're not curled. They got good color tone, good muscle tone. They're not so bony. That picture was taken 2 days before my accident. I would break my neck 2 days later. I'll share it with you briefly. The message today is not about this, so don't hear that message. I want to give you a little bit of background so you understand where we're going and why the principles that I've shared with you today have been so powerful for me and have allowed me to take an experience of uncertainty, fear, and doubt and turn it into an opportunity. And I believe the same thing will happen to you through this pandemic, through your uncertainty, your doubt, maybe some of your fears, maybe some of your divorces, maybe some of your challenge, whatever it is for you. That same feeling I've gone through in my life, and you can experience those massive, I call them punctual points. I call them pivotal points in people's lives. When people be able to see a bigger picture than what's just right in front of their face. They don't think outside the box. They throw the box out the window. They just get rid of the box altogether. There's no such thing as a box. She called me up on my cell phone and she told me the little kid in the stroller just took his first 2 steps. And she asked me to hurry home so that I could play basketball with him and his other brother in the garage. I told my wife that I would hurry, but I had to stop by the field first to feed the animals. So I went out to the field, feed those animals. Let's make a long story short. I jumped onto a tractor and I loaded up a bale of hay that weighs more than any SUV that's parked outside your home or your office. And I loaded up that bale of hay and lifted it up 15 feet in the air, and that's when I had a problem. My red light was flashing on my dashboard. It was a hydraulic light. My tractor was giving me a warning that the hydraulics were empty. So I got the warning, but I chose to ignore it. Why? Because I made it work with it before and never gotten caught. There's your next principle. Heed to warning signs in your life. Just because you've gotten away with something that is wrong doesn't make it a right. I don't know that we need to type that in. It's not one of the core values or principles. I think it's an ad hoc to what we're talking about today. Just because you may have gotten away with something, like texting while driving, doesn't make it a rightful act. Just because you haven't gotten cancer doesn't mean that smoking is healthy. Again, don't be offended by my words. I'm not here to offend you. I don't want to offend people. I'm just saying we get warning signs all the time and we ignore them. Then we wonder why we experience pain. You shouldn't wonder why. We don't heed to the warning signs. And I am living proof of that. I ignored the warning sign on my tractor, and I'm only going to say this once. That bale of hay rolled over backwards. It landed on my head. It punched it through the steering wheel, and the shaft is what went through my mouth, breaking everything in its path, including the bones in my neck and 95% of my spinal cord. And that's where my new life was to begin. And you're all going through a new life and a new normal now. I know what new normals are all about. I lived it. I am lived it. Can I just tell you, there's no better place to start than when you feel like you've lost everything. It's the best place to start. When you feel like you have to change the way that you shop, which we've all had to do, because not everything's at our fingertips anymore. Toilet paper is hard to come by. Cleaning supplies are hard to come by. Life is not the way that we knew it. Going to a movie theater, hard to come by right now. And I don't think it's going to go back the way that it was permanently. There's going to be a new normal, whatever that looks like. Let me show you what happened. See if you can catch a glimpse of this. I don't think we need to share the screen. I think I'll just go to the video. Go ahead and play co-op. Yeah, let's do it. Co-op. We're going to show you guys this. The reenactment of the accident. We'll start it over for you. Studio 5.
A video was posted on YouTube that
Let's
gave
see.
me major
Struggle.
Right here. Make it big, Les. No.
That's where,
The big actor. Thank you, Leslie.
there we go, sorry.
There it is. Let's see if we can show that to you. That's the ranch. That's our dream. You ready to hit pause for me? How do you pause? There's my bad choice right there. There it is. I ignored the warning light. Bale of hay rolls over backwards. And it landed right on my body. I realize that very few of you are going to have that happen in your life. I realize that. But if you want to know what that feels like, ignore the principles that we've talked about today. Somebody in your life that you love might make a bad choice, and you could have prevented that pain from that happening to them. I was discovered 48 minutes later by my wife. She saw the blood on the dirt tire, and she thought that I was dead. She races up. I can hear her screaming. Helplessly, she goes back home and calls for help. Here's the best part. We live out in the country. We don't have firefighters where I live. We got cowboys, though. 5 cowboys showed up and 3 Utah State Troopers. That's 8 men total. In secondhand equipment. Look at that. It's unreal. I got a massive problem. That bale weighs more than an SUV. Look, you got 2 cops here. There's a cowboy right here with PPE on, another cop right here. 4 more cowboys on the other side. That's 8 men. That's 8 men total that lifted 384 pounds each off my body. I don't know, Logan, if there's a way to unmute or if there's a way to people to chat so I can see it right here. I have a question. I'd like a response. How were 8 men able to lift 384 each off my body? I think that's a valuable question. That's what Oprah asked me on national television, and I'm asking all of you. That'd be like me asking you to grab 7 of your buddies and walk outside your front driveway and lift up your car. How were 8 men able to do that? I want some ideas.
Feel free to put your answers in the chat window for Chad.
I want to see them.
Tony Rickards said because they care.
Okay, that's not a bad response. I'll take it. I want more. I mean, I don't think I'm asking a question that's not off the cuff. How are people able to live that?
Floyd Millett said it's amazing what you can do when you need to.
So Floyd, would you call that adrenaline? Just asking, adrenaline? Teamwork?
Yeah.
So listen to this. If just one
person, they all had one single purpose.
Great. So let's take that one right there. If one person in that circle falls out of formation because they think it's impossible, who carries the rest of the weight? That's the last principle I'll share with you today. Look what happens if you choose to not buy into your family values, your company values, or demonstrate what leadership looks like. Your employees carry that burden. If you come into the office pissed off or unhappy, which has happened to me in the last 45 days, Leslie can attest to that. She's sitting right by me. Guess whose day that affects? When I come into this office and I'm not happy because maybe I had a rough morning, it affects her day. Likewise, if just one person in that circle fell out of formation, everybody else carries that burden. I'm okay if we have bad days, just don't stay there very long. And be willing to ask for people's forgiveness and tell people that you're sorry. First thing that happened this morning when Leslie came in the office, first thing, I asked you to forgive me for having a bad morning yesterday. I had a bad morning, for sure. I mean, we had a horse die on the ranch, and then my technology wasn't up. The internet server was down. I had several video calls yesterday, and it wasn't working right. My morning was rough, and Leslie could tell. And after sleeping on it overnight, and Leslie comes in this morning, first thing I said was, I'm sorry, and she said, you know, everybody has a bad day, and I didn't want it to affect the rest of her week. She's going into a good weekend. I want to go into a good weekend. I want it to be a great week. It's because of what I shared with you today. This picture exists right here. We're going to wrap it up. Remember what my dad said? He wanted me to be different. Well, what different looks like. There's Shondell and I in one of our latest family photos on the ranch. There's the two boys. We've been able to have more children. We've opened up our mind to new ways of having children. Gracie's from Guatemala. Caleb comes to us from Ethiopia. And my oldest son just got married this last year. So there's his bride. So now I have a daughter-in-law. That's kind of cool. We're missing the one boy. He's on a mission in Guam. He has since returned to us 3 months earlier than expected because of COVID. So it's good to have him back. So we need to update our family photos, which we will do immediately. And I'm going to show you one last clip. But before I do that, this picture right here, or the one that I just showed you, that picture is what my dad was teaching me, those principles. Not so stupid. Dad's idea, that vision he had for me, it's not a stupid idea. That picture is proof of that. Shondell and I just celebrated 26 years, and for 19 of those, I've been in a wheelchair. What an angel she's been in my life. We're going to take you back to a video so that you can see how it kind of all happened from the very beginning. I can get this to pull up here. There it is. We'll stop sharing, and I want you guys to check out this video. This is awesome. All right, let's call Jim Thomas line.
Yes, sir.
Am I back online?
You're back up right.
Okay. All right. Sorry, guys. I lost you there for a minute. Sorry about that. Here, let's show you this video. Okay, go ahead, let's play it. So we're gonna go to Glorious. This is live footage. That's live footage in the hospital.
There are times when you might feel aimless and can't see the places where you belong, but you will find it. There is a purpose. It's been there.
Learning how to breathe again with no ventilator. That took months. She's telling me we can make this work. I don't know if I believe her, but I'm just trying to do the little things.
It's like a symphony.
It's the little things that we do every day that make the biggest difference.
Pretty soon you'll start to figure out your part.
How do you change the world? One random act of kindness at a time. I was watching Evan Almighty last night. An random act of kindness at a time. Learning how to get dressed. That took 7 months. Learning how to push a wheelchair. That took 8 months.
You discover who you are. Those around you start to wake up.
Here's the first time I saw the boys. Watch this.
In their hearts. It's
No hesitation.
amazing.
Hey, Dad, Mom said you can't walk. Dad, it's okay, Dad.
It's like a symphony.
Dad, I got you covered. Look at this. Proactive leadership. I never asked. He just did it. Hey, Dad, I'm going to put your shirt on, Dad. He just did it. Now we're playing catch. Look at the kid's face. Watch his face. When I saw his face and his smile, I realized that it wasn't about me. And today's message is not about you. It's about everybody else.
Like a symphony, just keep listening, and pretty soon you'll start to figure out your part.
That's the ranch, and that's the Great Salt Lake of Salt Lake City, Utah. I've always wanted to fly. Once was enough too. I'll probably never do that again. So let's just wrap up the meeting. Are my dreams coming true? Yes or no? Sure. Not in spite of the pandemic, but because of it. Not in spite of loss, but because of loss. Not in spite of trial and error, but because of trial and error. So what do you believe about this pandemic? Do you wish it never happened? Remember, you might be losing out on an opportunity there to learn something new. I can tell you that if we were still stuck in the way we used to give presentations, I'd be sitting in my house right now just like this, wondering, why are we at home? Why do I have to let my staff go? But since we've tried to adapt to this and find new ways of accomplishing goals, we've been able to meet with you virtually and meet with tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people since March the 6th. Look at the blessings that come with things like pandemics, tornadoes, earthquakes. As terrible as those things are, they bring out the best in humanity. I want to thank you guys all for giving me an hour of your time. It's been an absolute joy, a blessing to be with you all. I'm happy to hang out for a few minutes if there's any questions. Logan, I'll let you kind of facilitate that.
Thank you so much. It was good to be inspired today. I think I echo the sentiments of a lot of people that it's very draining, emotional to worry about getting the funding, making hard decisions. Where's the loan application? Why is no one calling me back? And to be motivated and reminding of all that's good and all that can come of it is really cool.
Well, thanks for having me, Logan.
Yeah. If any of you have a quick question for Chad, go on and you throw it in the chat or in the Q&A.
Yeah, they can go. They can also go if anything that I've said today has some value to you. We're going to go ahead and take a screenshot of these principles. We can email them out to you. Logan and Jeff can do that as well. And then if you want the videos that we've shared or other videos, all you have to do is go to chadhymas.com and you can download them for free under videos, or you can go to our YouTube channel, again, just my name, or just Google Chad Hymas, and you'll see those videos amongst many others with the same content that we've shared today, and hopefully you can share it with your families.
Yeah, if they're interested in having you speak to their organizations, do they just go to that website as well?
Yeah, they'll contact Leslie or Lisa at the office.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And we do something virtual. We're happy to do it. Happy to work something out to where we can add value to your organization or to your people.
We've got here, I think we've got time for Jacob Haney asks, what is your routine for maintaining your energy and positivity?
Yeah, that's not an easy one, buddy. So the first thing in the morning when I wake up is I need me time. When I say me time, I need 5 to 10 minutes of me time, not just to wake up, but I need some time for just myself. And that might mean looking up a positive podcast, a TED Talk, something to get me fed right here before I feed my body. So I want to feed right here first. So when I first get up and I'm starting to stretch out a little bit on the bed, the first thing is the mental health. The second thing is the physical. And so I'll spend about 2 hours, unless I have Shondel's help, getting dressed. So you might need to go for a walk, go outside and catch some fresh air. I don't know, go shoot some golf, whatever it is for you. It's that physical, taking a walk or going out and just doing something. Maybe it's with the dog. I don't know. It's physical time. And the third thing that I do to keep myself in a positive mindset is I show gratitude to my Creator. I hope I can share that in this forum here. Hey, I don't think that God cares what faith we are, whether you're Catholic, Jew, Mormon, Gentile, whatever it is. I don't think he's overly well with those stats. I just think he wants to know if you're a grateful person or not. And so I try and show gratitude. And that's how I start my day every day. So thanks for asking. That's a great question.
Thank you so much, Chad. So we have recorded this. It'll get uploaded on WebEx in a few hours, and then we will send it out to all of you. Feel free to share this message with other people on your team, just so we can all know that there's a lot to be grateful for, and a lot of good will come of this. And Chad, any last words? If not, thank you so much for your time.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you all for having me at Truss. I appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Have a good day.